I introduce you today to John A. Nevin, presented by Holly Metzger-Brown. Let's take a closer look. John A. Nevin, he recently passed away in September of 2018. He dedicated his professional life to studying and developing behavioral momentum theory. Let's take a closer look of his education. He was a Yale graduate and received a degree in mechanical and marine engineering. He received his PhD from Columbia University in psychophysics. And in his early years, he served in the U.S. Coast Guard. Let's take a little closer look about his research and how it's impacted us in the future. He collaborated and worked alongside many researchers, including Skinner. He used pigeons in his research and occasionally worked with humans. He's been a constant contributor to behavior analysis. His research is used in clinical settings when treating behavioral problems. Let's take a closer look about behavioral momentum theory. It's based on a physical momentum and the resistance to change when the rate of reinforcement is high. For instance, I love ice cream. It's a great reinforcer. Every time I eat it, I love the way it tastes. So when I pass Dairy Queen on my way home, it's hard for me to change not stopping. So I stop. That's an example of what it means when we talk about behavioral momentum theory. For instance, this student I'm also going to talk about, resistance to change. He gets a reinforcer when he hits a great shot. I love hearing that sound. Great form. Wow, another ball hit over the net. You can see when this student hits the ball, he has great mechanics. He's been practicing over a year. Imagine trying to change this student's stroke mechanics after many years of reinforcement. They would show resistance to change. Let's take a closer look. The theory assists with learning and understanding why learned behavior is challenging to change and why humans are persistent with their actions even when they have negative consequences. For instance, let's talk about junk food. We eat it. We know it's not healthy for our bodies. We know it's empty calories, and we don't have a benefit. In fact, we know it's negative. Why do we continue to eat it? It even makes the scale go up for a negative consequence. Let's find out a little bit more. It's similar to the concept of Newton's second law of motion. Adding velocity and mass in a moving object is the comparison to behavioral momentum theory with the rate of response and resistance to change. So for instance, you're driving down a hill. It would be equal to if you were sitting around always eating popcorn during a movie. Going down a hill, it's hard to change and go the opposite direction. It keeps going in motion. Same thing when you sit down and you watch a movie, you eat popcorn. It's hard to change. Once a learned behavior is in motion, it keeps going even if the behavior is being disrupted in the subject's environment. His research experiments take a closer look to his theory. He used pigeons to peck keys for their response. They would peck the key, and then they would receive reinforcer. Let's take a closer look. We want to know why pigeons in his research. They're inexpensive, simple process to train. Laboratories were similar wherever they went. And they behaved as humans. closer look. The research that he discovered. He first deprived pigeons of food, and that's how it became a very effective reinforcer. The data confirmed in his research the number of behavior matched the number of reinforcers. So when the pigeon pecked the key, they would receive the food, the reinforcer. Let's take a closer look of all the pigeons and how this worked with his theory. He used quantitative methods, and that's a basic research method, using numbers and generalizing a phenomenon. He commonly used quantitative methods while researching key pecking pigeons. The pigeon would peck, they would get a reinforcer. The pigeon would peck, they would get a reinforcer. But what happens now that they picked the red key and nothing happened? They picked another red key, then nothing happened. And finally, they went over and they tapped a blue key, and what would happen? When reinforcement rate was high compared to when it was low, the free operant behavior was more resistant to change. Let's find out a little bit more, because the data that he collected, to decrease undesirable behavior, you will have to change and disrupt the response. So he did more research, and this is what he found. The pigeon would peck the red key. Nothing would happen now. The pigeon would peck another red key. Nothing would happen now. He is disrupting the normal response the pigeon was used to. The pigeon would get angry. Maybe. He would recognize, if I hit the red key, nothing is happening now. So I'm going to go over to the blue key and find out what happens. Reinforcement. You can see how that helps with knowing the resistance to change when you are constantly being reinforced at a high rate. Let's find out a little bit more. When the pigeons were placed on multiple schedules, this is what it looked like. In the levels of working memory and the discriminative behaviors and problematic for forgetting functions and learning the details of discriminative performance, transcending from attending within comparison stimuli reinforcement to change. What does all that mean? You can see the multiple schedules. 1, 2, 3 pecks now equals food. 1, 2, 2 equals food. Now 3 pecks equals food, and 1 peck equals food. He's changing and doing different multiple schedules. Alternative reinforcement. What is that? Well, it can result in counterintuitive and counterproductive effects. The resistance to change increases during the presence of discriminative stimulus, even when the reinforcements are available or not available after demonstrating the target behavior. If you are pushing up against someone like these children, they're pushing and pushing, is demonstrating they push even more when the other person pushes. This is the theory. Let's take a closer look. Persistence of problematic or adaptive behavior. Receiving reinforcement in a descriptive stimulus context produces a quantitative account. Through observation and measurement, an unmeasured operative behavior is attending a cognitive process. For instance, yummy, I am hungry. It's a reinforcer. I go to the vending machine. I peck my keys. 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing is happening. I'm now getting angry. But I continue to peck 1, 2 because I want the food out of the vending machine. The resistance to change. Let's find out behavioral knowledge contributor. What he did. He was assisting with practitioners, professionals, and students, implementing intervention plans in their effort to reduce or eliminate undesirable and problematic behavior while being challenged with the resistance to change amongst their clients. He also is a contributor to his research. He's inspiring others to understand the details of behavioral momentum theory, continue to explore the different interpretations and unresolved research questions in the world of behavioral analysis. A valuable lesson from John. Use the data to guide the analysis. And here are my reference. Thank you for joining, everyone.